Happy Thanksgiving, Assassinators. This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. And man, it feels so good to be back on a Thursday night, like on doing these podcasts for football. And yeah, and yeah, some of y'all assassinators be like SNA, like why in the hell you're doing like a podcast video on Thanksgiving? Like, shouldn't you have the night off? Well, if it wasn't for this particular reason, I probably would. But I thought I'd do something special. Plus, like I haven't done like a Thursday night football review video like in over 2 months now, since September, like when the season all began, and I only did like 2 or 3 Thursday night reviews videos. That's because that's when I had some access to what's that called, the Prime onto my little device right in front of me. But until I finally get some access to that for a football game, I'm always gonna be taking the rest of the night off on Thursdays when it comes to the like Thursday night football, like for the rest of the season, like until like probably next season, which I'm gonna try to do my best to get back where I was, like to what's that? So I can get back to like where I want to, like, to make review videos also on Thursdays, along with Mondays and Sundays on football. But yeah, now I'm doing it right here. I thank Thanksgiving for this, and I also thank Peacock and NBC to host the Thursday night game on this lovely occasion. And before I get into the game, I want to say, how was y'all's Thanksgiving, like all day from morning to night? Like, let me know also about that as well. And I hope it was as good as mine, even though I had a blast with my family. We had good food, watching good football. We yeah, all that stuff, like tradition, like every year. Like, and also yeah, we saw the likes of what's they called, the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears, like, which Detroit won. We saw Jared Goff and his team got the turkey legs, while we saw the same with the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, with Rush and his team, like taking home the trophy award, I guess you could say, for this the special occasion. But that's where we got the game started, and before I begin, I'll say this was probably like we expected, like with everything maintained, with the better team taking the huge dub. And it was pretty much like a home field advantage kind of situation. But anyways, this is where we got the Green Bay got the ball first. But even for getting like a couple of first downs and some yardage, they still eventually got stopped at 4th down. This is where we saw them kicking the ball to what's their name, Miami. Did they get a start? Like, and it's like something that you would guessed it. That not. Let's say we saw a screw up like every time, like when the Miami Dolphins then try to make a game better for them, like it ends up being a complete opposite. That's where this happened, like when they got the ball kicked at it. This is where we got one of the receivers that tried to catch the ball. This is where it slipped right through his hands. We got one of the guys on Green Bay got the ball in special teams, and they were like near the 5 or 10 yard line. Like this, I believe they were like at the 9-yard line to be the exact. This is where we got what's his name? That's where we got what's his name? Jordan Love that snaps the ball like 118. I said I guess where he passed it to Jacobs. This is where he ran for like a good 4, 5, maybe 6 yards. Like at the 3, so I'll say actually 6 yards. This is where we got Josh Jacobs then got right behind. Oh no, he was right beside what's his name? Jordan Love on the next snap. It was like 120, 176, 137. Hike, snapped the ball, passed it to Josh Jacobs, but this is where it ends up getting like a yard or 2, I think. This is where there was 3rd and goal at that point. This is where we got what's his name? Jordan Love. Then tried to go for a fake pass to Jacobs. Then threw it to a receiver in the right side. It was what's his name? Jaden Reed. That's who it was. Number 11, Jaden Reed. And even though he got the touchdown, he got some yards, but probably not enough yards, on my opinion, that should prove a statement like how great he is. Like that's a different story for a different day. Like I'm not trying to dog on him. Just saying like if he's playing this good when it comes to scoring and always getting some completions, maybe he should have gotten past like 100 yards. On my opinion, I would say. But that's probably the only issue in the Green Bay's end of the stick, I guess you could say, that I think of. It is only my opinion, not everybody else's. So you don't have to agree with me unless this is your opinion of your very own as well. But this is where we move on to the next slide. Like once the Green Bay got their first score in the lead, them being 7-0, like in their own stadium in Lambeau Field, is where we move on and skip through them kicking it right back to Miami. This is where Miami was kind of lucky. Oh, I totally forgot to tell you that. Yeah, one of the return men on the beginning of the game, we saw him branded for like about over 40 yards, with them passing the 40-yard line, their own 40-yard line. But despite all that, like with them getting a few yardage, they still got stopped and they had to go for a punt. But yeah, this is where we saw. They got like about. They got up at I'll say the wrong assassinators, but this is where we saw what's his name? Toa took a low and then try to go for spin around from two defendermen, one to the left, one to the right, but he was surrounded by them. They managed to eventually sandwiched him like if he was a human not McDouble, Big Mac. Yeah, like if he was a Big Mac being closed into a huge, ginormous body-shaped box. That's where he managed to get hit and get sandwiched by these two men. But there was a flag on the play. And it was on the defense. That explains why they got there so earlier than usual, because they jumped and they were offsides. This is where they got. This is where we saw. But this is where they lined up. What's their names? This is where they lined up. What's their names? Miami, right? A few yards, like and put them in the spot where the neutral zone is, like for an automatic first down. That's because they were already a first down, of course. But yeah, this is where they made them gain a few yards, like 5 yards from the neutral zone. That's where then Tagovailoa then snapped the ball. This is where like 175, and this is where he catches the ball. But this is where I believe this was a false start penalty. Once the referees what's that called? They saw like the offense like moved like back rather than we're staying still like on the lineman. That's where the referee saw this. This is where they pushed them back 5 yards, like replay a first down, making it which was the tight end Hill. This is where like they got pushed back for first and 10. This is where then we got Tagovailoa like first and 5 or first and 10. We're still getting in, but even though that did rhyme, like that doesn't mean that was 100% the case, like or that was true. But this is where we saw like some I'll say very impressive. We saw a very impressive, I'll say, determination from Tagovailoa, but despite it, they didn't went nowhere on this play, unfortunately. He gets pushed and stopped right at the line of scrimmage in the back. And yeah, I think they actually lost a yard because they were right underneath it with the Green Bay defense stopping the running back. What was it? It was Devon who was what's his last name? But yeah, number 28, he gets stopped, like lost the yard, making it 2nd and 11. That's where he tried to go for a short throw. That's where the Tua Tagovailoa to try to go for a throw on the Waddle, but it gets batted down by the defense. He managed to catch the ball like if he's Marcus Mariota, but unfortunately he didn't run it in. He gets sacked by the defense, which was, I believe, was most specifically Ness, if I'm mistaken, which this guy kind of reminded me of Clay Matthews in a way. I guess they found the replacement of Clay. Like if he just never left, like just like how Aaron Rodgers never left, like judging by this game, like with them dominating Miami. Well, that's because Miami that are not really at its best right now. Like, and they hardly got Tagovailoa back. But I mean, like with him, like they've been playing like very poorly, to say the least, like saying in a factual perspective. Not trying to hurt their feelings. But yeah, they're not like exactly like the Chiefs. And I believe that Tyreek Hill, I'm not trying to the dog on his run with the Dolphins, but it seems like he's kind of regretting them now. Like since like they haven't really went nowhere. Like since they hardly got into the playoffs, like the what they call the season before the last one, like back in 2022, 2023. But this is where we got to. This is where then we got some unnecessary roughness penalty on the offense after that sack. This is where it goes on number 9, the wide receiver, what's the name, McCain. This is where one of the receivers, it was I got it was Smith. It was Smith, number 9, the wide receiver. They pushed him back like an extra, I'll say 10 yards. Yeah, because they were already 3rd and 19, but they added 10 more yards, making it 3rd and 29. This is when we got Tagovailoa. That was like, all right, like I don't care if we're like 3rd and 50, I'm still going for this. And this is where they try to think he could pull a Mahomes, but unfortunately, he just went for a run. Maybe I'm not sure if it was that worth it, but like it could have been more, like if he just least threw it. But he passed the Mostert. Like this is where he only got probably hardly a 5 yards, or no, it was 3 yards actually. It was 3 yards on the play that he got from that reception when it was passed by Tagovailoa. That's where it did. We got them punting it to the Green Bay Packers, which there was like, I believe, under the 20-yard line. This is where we got Jordan Love come out there with the rest of the offense while the Dolphins changed positions, like from offense to defense after that, from that punt. And this is where then we saw what's the names, Green Bay didn't hit another magic, like if Jordan Love's the next Aaron Rodgers. This is where he threw it to the. And this is where, at first, unfortunately, he tried to pass it to one of the receivers, number 13. But this is where we got the corner that tackles him. And this is where one of the other ones try to catch the ball, but he gets rammed by the other receiver on Green Bay. I think that was probably I'll say a comforting killer, I guess you could say, not a painkiller. The complete opposite is where it gets hit body to body by this receiver on Green Bay. Look, it was Watson that run them over. It was Watson that run over this corner, number 4, to try to intercept it. But that ends up, like, even if he did try to catch the ball, I believe he would have struggled or would have eventually dropped the ball. So it was not much of a difference. But what was the difference was that he got hurt, this corner, on the Miami Dolphins. I'm like, that's not a good sign. Like it's already enough that they're struggling behind when it comes to this game or any other game as it is. So it's not making them no better. Like when another player that gets hurt, that's where we got. Like it's already enough that we saw Tagovailoa got back in the field like about a week or two ago. But it's where we got what's his name, Jordan Love, and passed it to, who was it? The Jacobs, yeah. But you only got like probably a gain of 7. This is where we got Jordan Love and passed it to Crafty, like the tight end, which he kind of reminded me of Travis Kelce in a way with his speed. I'll say that's probably the thing I'd see in the what's his name? Jaden. What's his name? What's his last name? Like the wide receiver number 11 that made a touchdown. Jaden something. Jaden, yeah, it was Jaden who go for, but that's where we got Jacobs then going for a run for like a gain of 1 or 2. I believe 2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was 2 yards or 2nd and 8. This is where we got Jacobs that ran that 8 yards and more, like which they were right at the, I'll say, they were obviously right past the enemy territory line, but this is where they were. They were like at the, I'll say the 28-yard line at this point. This is where we got Jordan Love, then passed it to, what's his name, to to Jacobs. This is where he got like a yard or two, if I'm not mistaken. This is where it was like second and it was the yard, so 2nd and 9. This is where then they go to the next play, which they were right at the 27. This is where he passed it to Jacobs again. I believe he got like a gain of, I'll say like a 5-yard run. Like, the 5-yard run, making it third and 4, like at the, I'll say right at the 22-yard line. Yeah, it was at the 22-yard line. Is where we got then Love, then I believe threw on this play. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then this is where he snapped the ball. It's like 118, 127, 138. Hike. This where he passed it to. It was what's his name? It was Wilson, I believe. It was Wilson, number 31, the second streaming running back, which I believe he got tripped over by one of the defender men on the. He passed it to Wilson, I believe again. That's where he got right at almost at the goal line, but just a yard shot. No, it was Josh Jacobs. They pull out the first streaming quarterback back out there, but they were at the 1-yard line for after that 6-yard run, or maybe I'll say 5 yards and a half, or wherever. Well, this is where we got. That's where they try. This is where they get. This is where Josh Jacobs didn't manage to get inside. Once what's his name? Jordan Love passed to him for the second attempt, 2nd and goal. This is where they got the touchdown, the second touchdown to be the exact in a row. This is where that rhymed, so that was absolutely true. Obviously, it happened, but they were 14-0 at this point. This is where it was starting to kind of remind me of that time. But let's get in. That's where we saw Miami got back in the field. This is where we got. This is where Tagovailoa did pass to the running back. In goal, that's what his name is. In goal, well, which he's a longtime Green Bay Packers fan. They talked about that on the halftime show. I'm probably going to get a little bit more details, once I get into the halftime part. But I'm going to talk about what about all. A little bit about the life of the running back on the Dolphins, but this is where they got back in the huddle. This is where we saw after the most powerful force in sports and entertainment went off. This is where we saw it was Achane that got the first down, at probably a gain of 12, if I'm mistaken. This is where we move on to the next. What's that called? The next play, this is where we got This is where then he tried to pass it to in goal, if I was thinking, or Achane. But this is where Achane gets pushed right back. This is where I think he lost probably about a few yards. But it's where you saw Alec in goal, when he used to attend Green Bay Packers games with his parents, and then he even went to football. They got into football himself, played in the University of was it Florida? Was it, or no? It was Wisconsin, I believe. I think it was University of Wisconsin. Yeah, it was Wisconsin, not Florida, where they even came from. But this is where we got. Tagovailoa then snaps the ball, goes for a throw with his left arm, which obviously is left-handed, of course. And I was like, it's very rare to see a quarterback being left-handed these days. I believe he's one out of only few that actually are left-handed quarterbacks in the league. But this is where we got him passing it to who was it? Was it it was Achane that went for a few yards, with him nearly losing yard, but luckily he zoomed and zigzagged out of one defender man that nearly tackled him. That's where it was third, and it was a gain of 4. This is where we got Tagovailoa, then snaps again, tried to go to the left side, did a fake cut. This is where he passed to Tyreek Hill. Unfortunately, it was not for a first down. Only got a gain of a few extra yards, which it was 4th down at this point. And I was like, man, he haven't been playing too good since he left the team that he made a name for himself and won a Super Bowl with. Now I'm not trying to talk sugar, honey, iced tea, but I'm just saying, maybe he should have stayed when this particular team gave him the offer and he should accept it, because sometimes it's not always about the money. Like it's all about like it's it's always about like what your value like of being like a top receiver in the league. And you probably begin some sponsors. You don't have to worry about being paid by from your boss like in the football team. But since they pass enemy territory at this point, this is where we got Tua Tagovailoa them trying to go for at 4th and 4, like with them only just getting a gain of I'll say 2-3 yards. But this is where I saw him try to go for a throw, like which unfortunately that's where there was a delay of game like that. They're pushing back 5 yards, making it 4th and 9. That's where Tagovailoa them. They was like, no, like we'll just go for a field goal, which maybe it was for the best. They got the points, but this ended up being a flag on the play. This is where I was like, geez, I wonder who's it on. But that's where they didn't mention who exactly this particular who the particular culprit of the flag being thrown into the field. That's where Mike McDaniels was like, who's it on? If it's on the defense, like I get to send the offense team back out there. This is where it was a neutral zone infraction penalty, like on the defense on number. It was T.J. Slayton, number 93. I believe he's like a defender man. This where we got what's that? And where I believe Mike McDaniels did put him out there anyway, despite them only getting like 5 yards rather than 10. Like that would have been helpful. Like if they got an automatic first down, but they only got their 5 yards back, which that's probably a good thing. Something that they were trying to do, like in the first place, to go for a 4th down. So they're like, since that the Green Bay messed up right here, this could be our ticket of getting at least a touchdown, like. And try to tie it like once we get the ball back. It's where we got Tagovailoa go for a snap. It's where we try to see who's that's open. This is where it was Waddle that got the catch of the 4th down conversion, with him like making it until like he got into the out of bounds at the 9-yard line or inside the 10. Like maybe it was the 10-yard line, like actually exactly like 10 to first and goal. This is where we got. That's where we got Aaron Mosby that went right on the next snap and just sacked him, the linebacker on the Green Bay Packers. Like just completely didn't give what's his name? Tagovailoa in no chance in hell. That's where he pushed. No, it wasn't. No, it was what's his name? Achin. It was Achin that got stopped. This is where then we got. But it's where we got. Tagovailoa then is where it gets I believe this is where he got sacked at, like at the 2nd and goal, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, it was Malik Washington, the wide receiver, like their other wide receiver next to what's his name, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Just where then we got here's where then they go for another play, like trying to make it into the 3rd down conversion. But yeah, y'all already guessed what happened next. With even for Tyreek Hill in motion, like in playing the decoy, Tagovailoa to try to go for a throw. He was under pressure. This is where he threw it to Mostert, but this is where he couldn't get to the goal line like for a touchdown. This is where he hardly got like a couple of yards. But this is where they had no choice but to kick a field goal, making it 3-14. And this where they went and kick it right back to Green Bay. Like, and this is where the scoring express didn't stop yet. Like, I don't think it ever has until the end. But I'm not going to talk about that. And I'm not going to talk more about that until the end of the video. I promise you, assassinators, I won't say no more because I don't want to sound too much of a spoiler. Like, even if some of you did watch the game, like I bet some of y'all probably don't want to hear. I bet like some of y'all probably don't want to hear that yet until like I exactly get the details from start to finish. This is where we got, and look, this is where we got Nixon the return man. Then ran it right until we got to like the 30-yard line. This is where we saw well it was Reed, yeah, Jaden Reed. This is where he got first down. This is where I got catch the ball, got first down, but this is where one of the defender men. His last name's Jones, and this is where he was on the ground. I was like, oh no, like it doesn't look good. That's not a good sign. Like it's just that like Miami just don't get a break of getting injuries, and also just cannot get a chance of getting a decent win. Not even on a primetime game. But this is where we move on to the next slide on the next play. But before I get into that, I want to wish the next guy on the Green Bay Packers, a speedy recovery. This is where you try to but yeah, it was Koho. I mean, it was Kohu. That was Kohu, the what's it called, the corner earlier that got hit the head to head with what's his name? Uh, what's his name? I totally forgot the wide receiver's name, number 9. But yeah, he getting head to head with him. This is where we got that same receiver was in motion, but this is where they ended up passing it to Jacobs. Like Jordan Love passed to Jacobs. I'm afraid that's where. But yeah, this is where that wasn't enough. That's where it was 4th and 6. Only got a couple of yards. It's where they ended up going for it anyway because since they passed every territory, I wish to lose because if they do fail to get a first down, then they have what's his name? They'll have even if they do even if they do be successful, they took Miami to their side like whenever they get the ball back by this turnover, but this is where we got our turnaround, I guess you could say, change sides even, but yeah, this is where we got them snapping the ball, but this is where we got a delay of game with Jordan Love then snap the ball on time, or was it a delay of game or was it a false start? It was one of the. It was something like that, yeah. But it's where I believe it was one of those. But either way, they got pushed back like 5 yards. This is where then we got. But this is where then we got what. But it's where then they punted to this return man, which he did a pretty impressive like juke and run, but only just for like 5 to 10 yards. This is where there was a flag on the play, once yet again for the 3rd straight time in a row. This is where it was a holding penalty on the receiving team of Miami, which they were pushed half-inch distance to the goal on their side, like back into the end zone. Like if they screw up and get pushed back, they probably would likely get hit with a 2-point safety. But this is where then we got what's his name? This is where we got Tagovailoa and passed it to H-N, but this is where he roughly got a yard. But this ended up, I believe they got pushed. I think it was like a penalty. No, it was I think a holding penalty on the defense. Offside. No, it wasn't a holding. It was offside penalty on the I believe the defensive end. Yeah, which his name was. Let's see. It was defensive end. In Gabarde. Yeah, in Gabarde. That's where then they got gained it for 5 yards. Is where we got Tagovailoa and then passed it to Monster. Which he got a first down. Yeah, pretty impressive from the Dolphins. That's where they were right at the 25. And then we got, Tagovailoa and passed it to Monster again, I believe. Yeah, that's where he gets stopped. Like he didn't went nowhere at this point. It wasn't H-Chan. Yeah, it was A-Chan, actually. It was A-Chan. They got this word that we got a fan hilariously said, I miss my mom's dry turkey for this game. I was dying with laughter. That gets definitely a golden trophy of Goofy Football of the Night, even though it wasn't from a football player or for a football personality like a coach, offensive coach, defensive coach, the owner, general manager of any of the football teams, or even the commentators. But I'm still gonna give this because it was on football television, so it's go definitely get it's definitely gonna be getting the trophy of the night. Like I was like, why would you miss that though? Like because I bet it's very tasty and very flavorful. But anyway, this is where we got But anyway, this is where we got, yeah. But that after that, we got to the next play for Miami. Yeah, like with them getting pushed back 20 yards because I think there was a holding penalty, like which they it was first and 20. This is where we got, and then we got what's his name? It was went to the 30-yard line. It was the receiver number 9. So yeah, he got a gain of 15, like at the 30-yard line. So it was like second and 5, if I'm mistaken. They got a few extra yards, or maybe a gain of 14. Actually, this is where we got him snapping the ball. This is where we're trying to go for a throw, but he ends up getting sacked by not one but two guys yet again. It was the same guy that he got sacked the first time. It was Lucas Van Ness. The next, what's his name? Clay Matthews. Like he just cannot, get a break from this guy. This is where he went head to head with what's his name? He went head to head like with the other defender men to help him sandwich the protective role. This is where then we got Here's where then they had to go for it on 3rd and 8, even though he lost like 2 yards. This is where they end up sacking him yet again. Like, you just got to get a break, and somebody better call Britney Spears. But this is where he goes snapping the ball. This is where he's trying to avoid them, but yeah, he just couldn't do it in time. He went right before he even moved. It was at Barre again. This is where he got the sack. They had to go for a punt onto Green Bay. This is where so they can score again before the break, because once the break is done, they have to kick it to what's their names to Miami. That's what. Well, yeah, that because they already got the ball at the first quarter. So at the beginning of the third quarter, they had to return Miami the favor. But yeah, let's move on. This is where the this is where we got the Green Bay had the ball. This is where it was. This is where they're about to go for this after they got the first down, like at the last game. This is where they went to 2-minute warning with 14-3 still on the what they call it, the scoreboard. Oh, I forgot to tell you, like it was, yeah. Obviously, it was 14-0 at the 14-0 in the first quarter, like in the first quarter, but second quarter I'm gonna tell you in just a moment. But this is where they got the ball. This is where we got one of the linemen, like I believe, or was it the wide receiver? It was on the offense. It was on the actually on the lineman, the guard lineman. Yeah, he jumped forward like right to the defense. This is where the referee the penalty flag saying it's false start. This is where they got pushed back 5 yards, making this first and 15. This is where after this setback, this is where we got Jordan Love to go for a snap like 170, 175, like hike, and this is where then they try to see who's going to be his intended receiver. He found him. He was the left. It was Christian Watson. That's who his name. Watson. Christian Watson. That was made the first down. Got 10 yards and more. But however, there was a flag on the play. This is where we got the commentators thought it was an offensive pass interference, much rather than the opposite. It was the corner that was holding on to Christian Watson, as a matter of fact. Number 24, what was his name? Uh, Number 24. It was Cam Smith, that's what his name is. Cam Smith, the corner. It was the decline. It was the first down because obviously Christian Watson got the first down, like with the play. This is where we got Jordan Love that did another life changing yard gaining first down. Like, what? No, I think I kind of made a blunder here. He got a few gain yards, but not a first down. It was second. It was a second and what was it? It was that was second and 7. Is where he passed it to Chris Brooks. That's where he went forward. That's where he did dominated onto his former team, the Dolphins, by running right into the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure if he had enough. I think it was a yard short though. When him get passed right into him. That's where the Jordan was like that, like so much for that. But despite it, like that still was a pretty impressive play. That's where they moved on to the next one. That's where then we got Jordan Love. It was like, okay, like I gotta come up with some kind of a trick play, even if it was like some kind of a generic play, we could get past them. But like still, like we want to make sure, like just be on the safe side. So they did a group huddle about it until they lined them up like in position. This where then we got Jordan Love. Then was like, all right, like 137, 145. 119 hike is where he fake passed it to Jacobs, passed it to Jaden Reed yet again for a touchdown for the second time of the game, making it 21-3. And this is exactly like how like it was like back in the wild card game between the Chiefs against the Tennessee Titans from 2017-2018 game or season actually. I mean, but that. But this is where we got moving on to the next slide. We like on the kickoff, they get kicked it right back to Green Bay, Miami. I mean, and yeah, unfortunately, nothing better, like nothing really better, like just actually just the same. Excuse me. But anyway, this is where we got. This is where they did an incomplete pass because I believe it was under pressure. But this is where we got took out low to try to run it on the next play. But even for that, he was still a yard short at 3rd and 1. This is where then he tried to go for a throw, which she was successful doing it to Smith. Yeah, this is where they start going no huddle, no huddle. Like even for this, like it was not good enough to get back where to make a comeback right at this game. Luckily, they had new sets of new 2 sets of quarters. Like, and you would expect them to make a comeback by now, right? I'm not sure if that's the right word to put it, but all right, I'm not sure if that's like I'm not sure if that's like how you put it, like in a way. But this is where he passed it to Waddle. This is where he got a first down. That was pretty impressive. And I was like, I would expect him to do this with Tyreek Hill, but yeah, let's say like we got a chance to throw it to the cheetah. But once he tried to throw on the next play, he overthrew it to the point that Tyreek Hill couldn't even catch it. It went right through his hand. That's where it went right to the hands of one of the corners on the Green Bay. That's where then they didn't have discussion on group huddle, and come up with a play that's actually going to be like 100% like guaranteed. That's where then they they went out of the group huddle, separated like into their positions. This is where it was 2nd and 10. This is where then we got Tech have. This is where 200 passed it to what was it? It was Actions. It was Actions that got the ball. This is where he got a gain of 5, or maybe a gain of 6 here. Like it was 3rd and like 5 or 6. It was 3rd and 5. Yeah, it was 5 yards. This is where then we got take off low. And then there was okay 117. I said hike. This is where then he snaps the ball. This is where he passed it to was it Heel? Was it? It was Malik Washington, number 83, gets hit hard, incomplete pass. 4th and 5. That's where they had to try to go for another field goal, or no, they try to go for it. That's where they try to go. They're like, screw it, like I'm just gonna go for it. Maybe it was probably a smart idea, but then again, like it was not. It didn't get in him nowhere because he tried to throw it to action, but even like him couldn't catch it this time because it was too difficult for him to catch it. I believe it was probably because it had something to do with the weather because they're not used to cold weather. But they just kneeled the ball down, like in this where, well, no, I don't think they kneeled it. I think they can, so they can maintain the lead. Is where we got, yeah. What's his name? Jordan Love snaps the ball, goes get back, go a half Mary or spiral, pass it to the tight end. What's his name? To Moore, I think. That's where it was. Yeah, Moore, like the tight end, number 85. This is where then they were like a completion away for field goal range. This is where they try. This is where they try to get to that point. Like that's where we got. Yeah. This is where we got Jordan Love with touchdown like 115, 187. This is where they got a timeout. This is where they're like, okay, this is where the Green Bay coach didn't call for a timeout, so that they can go through the plays and not make this like a screw up, like to give Miami some. They let them get the ball or score points or some kind of turnover, even though if it is 15 seconds. But this is where we got, yeah, Green Bay have they call for their second timeout, which is but yeah, this is where then we got, yeah, this is where we got Green Bay? Yeah, Green Bay had called for the second timeout. They had one timeout left, like in case if they need it, like if they're gonna go for it on the next snap. This is where I believe they did went for this next snap. Like wish one more time before it's like a couple seconds left, so they can just go for a field goal. They're trying to go for their luck. They go for a touchdown, but I believe so much for that because they didn't exactly got a first touchdown, but they did have a first down passing the first. And they passed to the 30, like the 38. This is where they wait for 3 seconds left to call for a timeout, go for their field goal, which they were successful. They hit a what field goal attempt? That kick it was a 46-yard attempt. This is where then. That's where they got the field goal. It was 24-3, which it ended with the Green Bay Packers scoring 10 points in the second quarter, while the Miami Dolphins scored 3. But yeah, at the halftime, it was 24-3. Like with them leading by like exactly 3 touchdowns. Like the only way that we could see like Miami coming back if they can score at least. Like yeah, like at least 3 touchdowns, make it 24 in all. But do you think that happened? Unfortunately, y'all would be I'll say spitting if y'all be spitting if y'all said yes. Then facing a team that he's playing for Miami, and it's his dream, his his dream team that he always wanted to play on, but unfortunately, yeah, like I said, not on there tonight. Like let's hope in the future that he will. But this is where now, yeah, he's an adult. This is where they showed him like as a kid winning some championship trophies in his time in school, like and in him like achieving some accomplishments in his college days, and now he's on the Miami Dolphins. This is where they even showed him like donating to foster kids at foster homes, like especially with some Jordan shoes. That was very awesome of him to do. Like, and he's a family man, and even his wife admitted that, and he's like, cannot wait to see him be a father, like and stuff like that. Yeah, which I sure hope that will be successful. Like, regardless of how many kids they will have in their future. I guess I could say at this point, even though they don't have any kids yet, but yeah, that could be a change in the future. Like no matter how many they have, like what if it's 1, 2, 3, like whatever, yeah, that they desire to have, like yeah. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, this is where they showed him like but they also showed Alec, what's his name? Alec Ingold, like cosplaying as a Green Bay Packer, like as a kid, with his parents saying this in this little well, I'll say video, this little video vignette, I guess you could say, like, but him being a hardcore, yeah, Green Bay Packers fan, like it's like how your favorite Super Ninja assassin, like, and yeah, and the rest of his family are Chiefs fans. I guess you could say he was like this much of a fan of Green Bay. I mean, like I'm also a Green Bay fan. Like I mean, like when they had like Aaron Rodgers and him on the team, like I was a massive fan. Like with like yeah of Green Bay. Like along with a couple of members of my family were as well. Yeah, of course. But but yeah, but yeah. But anyway, this is where we got back into the game, like at the halftime. This is where we saw. But yeah, this is where we saw them kicking it right to Miami because since Green Bay already got the football. But yeah, I want to say yeah, give kudos to what the like Ingold, like for being such a cool and generous and yeah, an awesome person and a football player, like in general, with like from both his profession and his livelihood as well, like and being a very great family man as well. Yeah. Kudos to him. And I sure hope that he does play for Green Bay in the foreseeable future. Not saying to leave Miami, but achieve his dream of doing that. Like, but let's move on and let's that's where they even showed the commercial. Yeah, or no, another vignette of Debo Samuel being an inspiration about like following your dreams, like whatever, like whatever you have in life, like that you want to have is your dream job and career. Like you, like as long as you work hard and believe into it and investing your time and your yeah. And your, I'll say your, what's that called? Your equity into this, into your, what's that called in your dream job, like anything is possible, which I totally agree on. But anyways, let's get it back into the game. This is where we got Toto Gavloa and try to use his second chance wisely to try to gain some more yardage and get into the goal line. Let's just say like during the second half, like he did got some points, but let's just say not enough that's convincing. That's the right term because it's where we got Tagovailoa passed it to Washington, but he only got like a gain of about 7, maybe 6. Yeah, 7 yards. Like it was 3rd and 3. Like when like once like it was like 2nd and 10, if I'm not mistaken, is where they try to go for another throw, but it ends up being, I believe, a false start penalty. Or no, delay of game because the shot clock was expired like to 0, so they got pushed back 5 yards. This is where it was 3rd and 8. Like this is where then Tagovailoa it was all his receivers lined up like with his running back in motion. I believe it's HN. This is where he got the ball. This is where he goes for a throw. This is where he had a little bit of patience where he tried to get, but this is where we got Odell Beckham Jr. didn't try to catch the ball, but it was right through him, like I'll say, it just went right through him like a bullet, like going through a target and a person, like right into their body, like trying to take try to take their soul out of their body, I guess you could say, in spirit, not to mention. But yeah, this is where it was 4th and 8. They had to go for a kick. Unfortunately for them, this is where we got. This is where we got what's his name? Jaden Reed then got the ball as the return man, but he got stopped by with all the special team members onto Miami was right in front of him, so they had to put him right into like the 21-yard line, if I'm not mistaken. This is where we got Green Bay was back into the offensive position in their next drive. Like this is where they got like about 3 yards on the first play with what's his name? Was it Jacobs? Josh Jacobs. This is where we got Jordan Love that passed it to Jacobs again. And if he gained a yard, I would say if he gained any yards, I'd say it should be like 1. This is where he almost surpassing the likes of like Saquon Barkley and what's his name? Derrick Henry. Well, I would say like he's surpassing him because he's still like a few hundred yards short than what's his name? Both Barkley and what's his name? What's his name? Derrick Henry on the that's now in Baltimore, and then Saquon Barkley that's on Philly. Which I think Barkley's the next Darren Sproles from the Eagles. Yeah, in my opinion. But anyway, this is where we got. This is where we got what's his name? Jordan Love the line, all his receivers up. This is where we got we got what's his name? Who was it? It was it was Jordan Love and like all right, 175, 176 down, set height is where he got the ball. This is where he goes for a throw. He launched it right to the right side. That's where he threw it to Watson. He caught the ball. He got right into the 30 or was the no, it was the yeah, it was the 30. It was the third pass 30 at the 27-yard line. I was like, dang, like I was expecting them to like start scoring more points, but not in this devastation manner. But this is where we got what's his name? Jordan Love then going to do another throwing play, which was 177 hike is where he passed it to Josh Jacobs, which he just went right over everybody in the Miami defense until he got right into the 14-yard line. Is where he got knocked down finally. Like with him just running over everybody. This is where it showed him that he's been he's been in the NFL for a couple years now, I believe since 2022, like starting in the Vegas Raiders, and then he came from the University of Alabama. He at the age of 26, and you get the point. But this is where we got they passed it to what's his name? Who was it? It was was it Williams? Like I believe that's what his name was. Like the second streaming running back. It was. What? Oh, it was Chris Brooks. It was Chris Brooks that got the yards. This is where we got. This is where we saw inside the booth. It was Brian Goot let me know in the comments how to pronounce that. But this is where he was there, like watching right inside. The general manager of Green Bay is where then we got that's where we got Jordan Love then did a break slap like of what's his next play is gonna be, which is obviously gonna be a throwing play because for starters he has all the receivers lined up, including the running back and stuff. This is where he got the ball. This is where he was in motion. That's where it was Brooks that was in motion. This is where he tried to throw to him. Maybe it was a smart idea because he was running right side to side and running near what's his name, Jordan Love. Like it was the one that was definitely expecting to get the ball. But this is where we got. This is where we got another play. This is where they try to play better than they were. This is where we got Jordan Love to try to pass it to what's his name to Jaden Reed, but unfortunately it did not get him a first down. Like if they didn't lose a couple of yards, they would have probably gotten the first down. But this is where well, even though that catch was pretty impressive by Jaden, what's his name? Jaden Reed, but when him catching it with one hand and went right to the side, I'm like, dang. Like, I was like, definitely wasn't prepared for this. Like, like this was totally out of the blue, but this is where we got them kicking a field goal. This was 27-3. This is where we saw Tyreek Hill was not much in a good mood. And this is where it looked like he probably was thinking like maybe it wasn't such a great idea to leave the team that he once was in. This is where we got Miami Dolphins got the ball kicked right back to them, but this time it was looked kind of promising. Like with them, they have a chance to make a comeback against the Green Bay Packers. But that's where we got. That's where we got a holding penalty on Tyreek Hill, like helping out. Was it Monster? Yeah, it was Monster that they got a first down. That's where they had to push him back that 10 yards, like into first and I'll say first and 20. Like Molster was like the Derrick Henry. I'll say like the Derrick Henry of Miami, like just running over Green Bay. But maybe if it hadn't been for Tyreek Hill making that huge mistake, maybe this would have count as a first down. But this is where we got. That's where we That's where he passed it to Smith, number 9. Like, this is where they got a first down, like at the 45, like almost at enemy territory. We got Tagovailoa then at the group huddle yet again. This is where then he tried to. This is where he got both Molster and what's his name and what's his name A-Chan, yeah, this is where they had him lined up. This is where he fake passed to A-Chan, but he flickered it to what's his name, Monster, to try to go for a run. But even for that, like, he roughly got 2 yards with the defense. We're not too much of a fool. They were trying to try to see who exactly is the guy he passed it to, but it was like only a yard, making it 2nd and 9. This is where Tagovailoa got all his receivers lined up. This is where he tried to see who his intended one was. This is where he passed it to. It was Washington, number 83. This is where, even for him catching the ball in a very impressive manner, like it only got him like a gain of probably 8. Yeah, because it was a yard short, 3rd and 1. This is where we got and then got the fullback was put in. This is where he was in motion. This is where try to pass it to Monster, but this is where it gets stopped by defense, which I believe was a loss of 3, if I'm mistaken. No, I think he was right at the line of scrimmage, but yeah, he didn't win nowhere. 4th and 1. This is where we got the Tagovailoa then had the receivers yet again lined up. This is where he tried to go for a throw. This is where he went straight ahead. This is where he managed to find his receiver, which was Smith, which he was at the 30. This is where then Tagovailoa then go for a snap. This is where he then passed it, fake passed it to his what's his name? A-Chan passed it to Jalen Waddles. This is where then. That's where we saw, Tagovailoa then went more further. This is where we got Tagovailoa then looking on his little, what's that watch? The play watch, like the plays, like they look at all the plays of what next that's been instructed by the coach, Mr. Mike McDaniel. But whatever he put up to do, it was not enough to help him like get ahead rather than trying to catch him behind. But this is where we got. You got Tagovailoa passed it to who was it? It was A-Chan. Yeah, A-Chan ran it in the end zone for a touchdown, like finally of the night in the 3rd quarter, like almost the end of the with a couple minutes left in despair, like 2 minutes and 43 seconds to be the exact. This is where they tried to go for a 2-point conversion, and amazingly, they got the 2-point conversion with them throwing it to Jalen Waddles, if I'm mistaken, which it was 11 and 27. I was like, if they could do this 2 more times and a 2-point conversion, like maybe they might have a chance. But y'all probably already have guessed it, even if y'all didn't watch the game. Like y'all see what might have happened, but I'm not going to get to that until I get into these next drives. But yeah, let's just say it was not so good or in the favor or anything promising into that path, I should say. So just not trying to ruin y'all's moment or bust any bubbles or anything like that. But anyway, this is where we got Jordan Love to try to go for a throw, but he gets an incomplete pass. That's where he tried to throw to who was it? It was what's his name? Wicks. It was Wicks, number 13 Wicks. They got hopefully like a gain of probably 9, a gain of 9, making it 3rd and 1. This is where we got Jordan Love. Then all right, 175, 172. Hey, how can you go dropped off to Jacobs, but he gets stopped. This get buried by everybody in the defense of Miami. It was 4th down. They had no choice but to kick it because they lost about 2 yards, if I'm not mistaken. It was 4th and 3. That's where they try to go for. that's when they kicked it until they got into like under 20, like at the probably the 16-yard line with Green Bay retrieving the ball there. This where then after the picture powerful force that went off the air, and that was the partially commercial break, I guess you could say. But it's where but this is where we got a lineman was hurt on Miami, and I was like, oh, like this is the third time that we've seen somebody getting injured. Like, what is up with that? And this is where they show all the records with like on the AFC side, we see the Chiefs at number one, and I was like, yes, my boys, them Chiefs are not disappointing like right now. Like, despite them only losing that one and not being undefeated anymore, they still do some very, very impressive numbers, like with them being in the number one spot, while Detroit's at number one. And I was being afraid, like maybe that we are gonna be fighting them at the Super Bowl. Like, when I say fighting, it's not like if I'm talking about like boxing or wrestling. Obviously, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about football. They're gonna be battling it out, like who's gonna be winning the Lombardi Trophy. I sure hope it will be the Chiefs if that's the case. But I think regardless, that next season we'll be seeing the Chiefs taking on the Lions on the next season, given that they both have the same similar records on both the AFC and the NFC. Because, like, before they changed up this rule on the 18th week, like having an 18th week since 2021, yeah, having since 2021 season, like they always have like teams like from the NFC, like whoever has the same, like let's say for Chiefs, for an example, being the number one seed, and then somebody like Detroit or maybe Philadelphia get number one, they're gonna face them in the next season. Like even if they don't play against them at the Super Bowl, but before this, they always have a schedule for the Chiefs, like don't play certain NFC teams like but every 4 years. That sounds like more longer than a Fast and the Furious movie. But anyways, is where we got like the sequels of a Fast and the Furious movie. But this is where we got Tagovailoa was about to do his latest snap with Tyreek Hill in motion. This is where he passed it to Monster. With Monster went for a run. This is where he tried to do it again, like while being penalized. Well, Tyreek Hill's like, I don't have no hands on nobody. Like I'm just trying to block for my man. But despite not having no hands on nobody, like that did not really help because we hardly see Monster got a few yards. Is where it was the end of the third quarter with the score being, I'll say, in the final score it was 3-8, like with Miami scoring 8 points, 2 point. A touchdown plus a 2-point conversion, while Green Bay took on only got 3 points of a field goal because they were already dominating like 3 touchdowns. But yeah, this well it ended with Miami Miami 11 and Green Bay 27 at the end of the third quarter overall. But this is where we move on and got to the fourth quarter, which like I said, nothing better for Miami still yet. Like with them like still lagging behind is where we got. That's where he passes to Odell Beckham, though, like for a first down, like at the 19-yard line. Not 19, 21. What am I talking about? They're like if they're in their 20-yard line, they're in Green Bay's 20-yard line. They were at the 21-yard line, actually. Yeah, they were at the 21. Is where we got Tagovailoa. Then they catch the ball and at the 10-yard line. We passed it to who was it? It was what was it? It was that they gave him the first down. It looked like he faked it to Achan and passed it to Waddle. It was what's his name? Jalen Waddle that got the ball. After that first down with Odell Beckham Jr., just where he passed it to Achan. That's where he tried to go for another touchdown. He almost did so, but he ends up getting stopped exactly at the 1-yard line. But that's where they start. That's where they nearly got into a fight with the Green Bay defense, like with them pushing each other. Like if it's somebody from WWE about to fight, like if they start getting into a disagreement and an altercation. But this is where we got Tua Tagovailoa to put all his trust in the Achan. Maybe he shouldn't have put all of it, and maybe he should have did like a trick play by passing it to someone like Jaden Waddle, Odell Beckham Jr., or even Tyreek Hill. Or even what's his name, Washington. That like whoever that they could do get forward to. This is where we got Toa took Evlo. It was like, I'm not giving up my fight, even at third goal. Maybe this was probably a good idea. Like with him affected to the monster. This is where he tried to pass it to Smith, but this is where he still gets stopped by number 25. Like onto who was it? It was the corner, number 25 was. It was that was Keyshawn. It was Keyshawn that got the block and the coverage is where we got Toa took have lowered the fake. This is where he tried to go for a throw, but he ends up getting sacked. He kind of screwed it up for himself because yeah, he could have just threw it to somebody like that was close, even if it was a lineman, like what Patrick Mahomes would have done. But this is where we got it was a holding on the offense, like so it was declined. It was it was now a Green Bay's ball, like yeah, they ran out of their chances, and it was a turnover to Green Bay. That's where the Green Bay they continued their scoring. Their scoring reign, even though it was not exactly like as much as they were like from the last two, or from the first two quarters, I guess you could say, like with them scoring touchdowns after touchdowns. But anyways, but this is what we got next up. But yeah, let's see. We saw a Green Bay start like at 9 minutes, like on the clock is where then we got Jordan Love and group up. Yeah, did a little group huddle like to the offense is where then we got what's his name? This is where then we got what's his name? Jordan Love then snaps the ball. This is where then he tried to go for a throw, even though like he was a little bit over pressure. This is where he tried to pass it to what's his name to Jaden Reed, but this is where he was getting covered and blocked. This is where the flag on the play. I believe it was Jalen Ramsey, if I'm not mistaken, which was a yeah, it was a holding penalty. Like I'm not sure it was exactly like a pass interference, but because it was not like a complete throw, but still like it was holding. Like in this where they put the penalty they're gonna put the ball at the spot of the foul and the automatic first down. This is where then we got like because it was a 10-yard penalty. This is where we got what's his name? This is where we got what's his name? Tega Floridan. Who was it they threw it to? The tight end. What's his name? Number 85. Was it Sims, if I'm mistaken? Yeah. That's where it was another first down. This is where we got no Kraft. It was Kraft. That's what his name is. But this is where we got Jordan Love and it was like, all right, 2022, 222. Like, this is where then he go for a fake pass onto Josh, what's his name? To Josh Jacobs. Yeah, that's where he then this is where then he ran it. He got first down and more, passing enemy territory, but then running like a long run, like until he got like at the 20, if I'm not mistaken. It was a 40-yard reception, I believe. It was a 40-yard reception. Got the ball, ran it all the way like until the 20 of Miami. That's where then Jordan Love was loving that. He's like, yeah, we're definitely gonna be winning this game. Like, even if Miami did score another touchdown, it won't even matter now because there's still a couple of touchdowns behind, like at this point. But this is where we got. Yeah, this is where we saw. As soon as what's his name, Jordan Love, to try to make another touchdown, he ends up getting prevented by Miami. Like with him first starting passing it to what's his name what's his name to Jaden, not Jaden, okay, I'm thinking of Will Smith's son. I mean Jaden, what's his name? Reed, Jaden Reed. But this is where it gets he dropped the ball, but this is where we got what either the linebacker or safety. I think it was a safety. And number 33, what's his name? It was Seren Neal. That's what his name is. Seren Neal, number 33 safety. This is where he died. He did it all the way to the end zone, but it was confirmed and it was called back that it was an incomplete forward pass, like because it passed the line of scrimmage. Like it was not a backward pass. Otherwise, it would be like a fumble. So yeah, it was a incomplete. Like nothing like nothing that was still alive and active. Like it was a dead ball. But this is where we got the next play, which we got what's his name? Jordan Love to group up the offense, like once again, like see what play gonna begin. I assume it's gonna be a special trick play. And right there, he thought, okay, you on red, you on blue, like, all right, 319 set hike, and this is where he fake passes to Josh Jacobs. Is where he tried to throw it to who was it? It was Kraft, number 85, the tight end, which was a successful first down for 10 yards, good decent 10 yards. That's where we got and moving on, like you got what's his name? Like Jaden Reed was in motion, but this is where like I already passed what's his name, Jordan Love, so it was definitely not gonna be him for sure. He's just a decoy that was quacking. That's where then he passed it to what's his name, Josh Jacobs, but he only got a gain of 4 yards. Second and goal at this point is where then we got and passing it to Jacobs again, but he only got another couple of yards, like with him being right at the 1 or 2, if I'm mistaken. No, yeah, I think it was 3 yards actually. This is where we got Jacobs, then snap. I try to go for a snap. This is where we got Wicks, then trying to go for a touchdown, but he was just a shy away from in the end zone, like only just making it at the 1 yard line, with him getting tripped over by the defense. That's where then there's a flag on the play with the referee then pull out a flag, and then that's where like I was wondering who this be at this point. It could be anybody that could just did something that's gonna track a foul. That's where them it was, I believe. Where it was a what was it? It was a what penalty was it? It was it was a personal. It was a personal foul, unnecessary roughness penalty. That's what it was. It was a personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the offense of Green Bay. It was number 74. The lineman, like this, where he got assaulted. It was Mr. Elton Jenkins that did some unnecessary roughness on the defense on the what's his name on the Miami. This where then, but yeah, this is where he shoved him right to the face. This is where the referee didn't pull out the flag on, like, we're pushing that defensive lineman, like, just pushed him right to his face. This is where we got, what's their names? Green Bay, then they had to kick a field goal because it was 4th down. This is where they got the extra 3 points, making it 30-11. It was at this point there was the chances of Miami making a comeback was getting more slimmer because it was only like a few minutes left for them to score any points at this point. But yeah, that's where it was. 11 and 30. Yeah, so it's like a 29. I'm not 19-point game actually, not 40. But anyway, it was a 19-point game. This is where they kicked it to Miami. This is where Miami did their best. This time it was. They did pretty impressive on this next play. This is where then we got Tyreek Hill in motion. This is where we got Toa Tagovailoa, then fake pass it to what's his name to what's his name was it fake pass it to the H, and this is where he end up sacked anyways by the defense. It was Kenny Clark that stopped him, and he just completely just buried poor Tagovailoa. He didn't have a chance, but he lost like about 7 yards. Is where he passed it to the H end. Is where he got like a few yards of him, like I'll say 7 yards if I'm mistaken. 7, what's it 7? I mean, actually 8 yards. It was an 8-yard reception. Is where That's where he didn't throw it to Tyreek Hill. I believe this was like his fifth or his sixth reception of the night. They've been rarely throwing it to the guy. I mean, I can understand on some capacities because of like for one, like an example that that the Green Bay defense know he's gonna be gonna be the one that's gonna be the target that Tagovailoa is gonna throw it to. So that's one good reason why that they've been covering him, and also uh, also, like, and also, they Miami made it too obvious for them to show that, so that's why Tagovailoa have trouble throwing it at him because they know what the play is. But it feels like if he was still on the Chiefs, like with Andy Reid, like with his play, then Green Bay probably wouldn't have known like most of the times, like 9 times out of 10, or even 8 times out of 10, they will not know what next move is going to be. So that's a huge mistake for him not to still be on the team that he won the Super Bowl with. Just saying, not trying to talk trash, but I'm just looking at it. But I'll tell you, kudos to the Cheetah for finally getting a very decent reception of the game, which I think this was the best one. Here's where Tagovailoa got only 3 minutes and 45 seconds, to make a comeback. Like this is where he did snaps. This is where trying to throw it to Washington. They went right past his hands. When the defender was there to push him right off. This is where they try to go for the next play. 2nd and 10. That's where then we got Tagovailoa snaps, go for try to see his intended receiver, which ended up being Waddle. But then Waddle went on to the right side, but he ended up got a shy of a first at 9 yards, 3rd and 1 is where he passed it to the Johnny Smith, I believe that's what his name is, which he got at the 13-yard line for a first down. This is where they were getting ready to hit another knocked over. This is where it got tipped, and this is where Tyreek Hill happened to caught it in the end zone. Oh, no, it was Smith, I believe. I think it was Johnny Smith that was trying to catch the ball, but this is where Tyreek Hill recepted the interception. I was like, wow. This must have been the highlight of the game, like overall, and even in Miami's perspective as well. Like, even if they don't win, like, I think this is going to be probably the highlight of this game. Like, with Tyreek Hill catching this deflated ball, in the end zone of all places. And I was like, where were they at when they were supposed to be doing this, like what's it called, like quarters ago, I guess you could say, like the whole quarters, like of threes, like not waiting until the last minute, like because if you wait too much, like you're not gonna have that chance, and that ended up being the case right here. Just where we got what's his name, Toa Tagovailoa. Then they try to go for 2 at this point. I believe they're trying to throw it to who was it? Was it Smith or no? It was I believe it was Monster that I was trying to throw it to, but it gets tipped, and one of the defendermen nearly caught the ball for an interception. This ended up being an incomplete conversion with one of the safeties nearly intercepting it. This is where we got Jacobs then running the ball. This is where we're trying to what's they called? Trying to run out the clock, so they won't have a chance to score any more points because they're still losing by a couple of touchdowns. This is where he was getting stopped from getting across the line. Is where they got I think they got stopped. Yeah, they only gained a few yards, but they ended up getting pushed back. With them only getting 2 yards, but this is where we got the defense then stopping Jacobs, make him lose 2 yards, making it 3rd and 11. And then we got Jordan Love then trying to go for a throwing play with Josh Jacobs was going side by side, going in motion. This is where we got a timeout, of Green Bay because they never got a delay of game when the shot clock was almost going down to 0. This is where they went for a timeout. This is where they took a 60-second break. That's where it was this is where I believe there was a delay of game penalty. This is where it was a. This is where we got what's his name? No, it was Jordan. I'm trying to throw it to what's his name to Watson. He was trying to throw it to Watson. This is where he got blocked. This got stopped. This is where it was where's the penalty? Because the line, what they call what they call the corners were on to him and touching and holding on to him. So yeah, it should have been some kind of a pass interference penalty. But yeah, but I guess for the best for Miami to give them a chance to what they call it, to make a little bit of a comeback to get one more touchdown at least. This is where they try to go for a punt, but this is where it ends up like this ends up being like a delay of game penalty. Like they had to get pushed back 5 yards on Green Bay. This is where they kicked the ball, but this is where it went right into the end zone for a touchback. This is where they started at the 20-yard line. This is where their journey is trying to make a comeback with Tug Cavloa to try to pass it right on to A-10, but this is where he gets stopped, like with him getting to 7 yards. But this is where we saw a flag on the play. It was a offensive pass interference onto number 9 onto Johnny Smith. This is where they had to get pushed back, like I believe 10 yards. This is where it was second and it's like first and 20 actually. This is where he threw it to what is it? It was Johnny Smith. This is where he gets stopped. Only roughly got a gain of 5 on the play. That's where we got Tug Cavloa. Then would look like he knew giving up right here when he tried to throw it to anybody in the middle, but it gets deflected by the defense and nearly picked off. This is where we saw it was 3rd and 15. We got Tug Cavloa to found somebody. It was Johnny Smith that only got like probably a gain of a 10, which it was 4th and 5. Like there was a gain of 10. So if they didn't got pushed back from that pass interference penalty, there would have been like a couple of first downs they probably would have gotten on this play. But it's end up like they managed to make it up like with him passing it to. That's what doing to Johnny Smith again. Is where then he passed it to not Tyreek Hill. It was what's his name? It was Monster. This is where they try to go for at least one more time to try to end the game. This is where we got Cox, like one of the defensive tackles, managed to sack what's his name, Tug Cavloa. This is where we try to go one more time right here. And it was number 81 that got the throw. Like this is where he didn't even get a first down on this play. I was like, this is sad and embarrassing. Like, but I was like, at least they're in Lambeau Field and not in Hard Rock Stadium. This would have been more embarrassing on the primetime night of losing those to Smythe, like the tight end. Is where the game ends right here. This is where the Green Bay Packers won. It was 30-17 with them taking the huge dub at 9-3. And what's their names? Miami Dolphins or 5-7. I was like, the only way they're gonna be getting in the playoffs in the AFC side, like, and lucky if they get even the 7th place spot, is if they win like 5 straight of their, because it had some greens or spinach, that green part of their attires, while they had some delicious macaroni and cheese. If that sounds like my sister-in-law made like tonight on Thanksgiving, which that was very yummy. It was like KFC's macaroni and cheese, but better. Yeah, that's the best term I guess you could describe it. But yeah, like it kind of looks similar to that. Like, and this is where we got Josh. This is where we got Josh. What's his name? Josh Jacobs. That's what the running back name. Plate of food, lifted up over his head. This is where then he started marching right to their locker room. They give it to the whole team, like, because that's going to be their dinner for the night for the tradition of this lovely traditional holiday of Thanksgiving. That's how the football game ended. Like Green Bay just completely demolished Miami, but with almost by 2 touchdowns, like 30-17. And what are your thoughts on this score? Like, and do you think this was completely embarrassing? I mean, Miami did their best at the last minute, but maybe they waited too long. Like, they should have been doing this from the very beginning, because even if you are behind, like, you shouldn't be behind by 3 touchdowns and expecting to just like goof off is going to be helping out by making it better by going for a comeback. Like, if you're going to be behind by 3 touchdowns, like the first half and then the second half, like you're trying to make a comeback, it's best to just keep scoring, whether if it's a field goal or a touchdown. just like how the Chiefs did on the division round in 2019-2020 season on their first run of going to the Super Bowl. Like when they played against the Houston Texans, like on the division playoff game, like when they were down like about, I'll say, they were down by like 4 touchdowns, if not 3. I'll say, yeah. I think it was actually 3 touchdowns from the field goal. It was like 24-0. And they managed to come back and score like over 30 or 40 points to make a comeback and win the game. Like if Miami did something like that, like maybe they'll have nothing to be ashamed of. But besides, they're not really doing much right now, so it's probably not too embarrassing. It was like what most people would think it's gonna be Green Bay, given that they were at home, first of all, and second of all, they had a better record. They were like 8-3, now they're 9-3. While Green Bay was 5-6. They might. I'm not Green Bay. Miami. Miami's 5-6, but it could have easily been like 6-6. But it was not meant to be for tonight. It was 5-7. Like this season probably wasn't meant to be for them to make it in the playoffs, let alone to get into the Super Bowl. Even though mostly it's because Toa Tagovailoa was out for a little while, and now he's back. But unfortunately, he's not at the best point of his season, I guess you could say. Like, because like I said, like the only way they're gonna get back and be like in 7th place spot, they can win 5 straight of their next games. And do you think that's possible for Miami? Like, I mean, it could be. Like, I mean, we saw the Chiefs doing that before. We seen like who else did it? Like the Chargers, and Houston Texans, like a few years ago, did it. Like, it's not impossible. Like, as long as they have that dedication and motivation to actually get to that point. But let me know if you think so in the comment section right down below. But I guess that'll be it for tonight, Assassinators. And I'm very happy Miami got not Miami, I mean Green Bay. What's it, Miami? I'm glad Green Bay. I'm wearing the green, even though like if Miami won, I'll still genuinely wear the green because they're more like a teal or turquoise green, turquoise-ish green. Yeah. Like whatever their color is, but they're more like a green color regardless. But I would have regardlessly wore this low key, like because it's a green team versus another green team, and and I'm gonna just wear this, and I probably would wear this anyways if I was doing the Thursday football news special like I normally do every week. And not special. What I'm talking about, like my usual weekly Thursday news videos, I guess today for football, along with my Sundays. But so green, it was like a guaranteed, like y'all was gonna wear this anyways. So I'm happy I'm wearing it. Like and I hope y'all like have fun with this special edition of the Thanksgiving NFL Thursday Night Football review video that I made. And if so, please make sure to hit the big thumbs up button. And if you want more of my videos, then consider hit the subscribe and post notification bell so it can notify you like my other videos on this channel, and it updates you update you when I upload my latest videos as well. And also I would give the game. Like this was gonna be a predictable game, like with Green Bay gonna win. Or in my opinion, I would say maybe I'll say maybe 4 out of 5. Yeah, 4 out of 5. Like it was still pretty good, even though it was a complete blowout with Green Bay just completely. Do you think Green Bay are starting to be like a Super Bowl contenders, like they were like back in 2010? Was it? Yeah. Let me know down in the comments about that as well. But that's gonna be it for now, Assassinators. And I hope hopefully you guys will have a fun and I hope you guys have a fun and safe rest of your and have a wonderful, fun and safe and happy Thanksgiving. I guess you could say that's the best term to you because it's the holiday. And I'll see you all tomorrow. And make sure to check out my Friday Night SmackDown post Thanksgiving episode, I guess you could say. And and the go home edition show of the blue brand before Survivor Series War Games. Because I will be making a review and talking about who I predict is going to be the winners and the losers on each matches, including the championship match between Gunther and Damian Priest, the triple threat match between Braun Breaker and Sheamus, and what's his name, Luther Counter for the Intercontinental Championship and United States Champion LA Knight against Shinsuke Nakamura, the returning Shinsuke, I should rephrase it. And yeah, obviously the men's and women's Royal Rumble as well. So yeah, so make sure to check all that out. Like I'm gonna tell you who's gonna win those matches after I talk about what went down. The only thing I know right now, even though I heard who's gonna be fighting in the matches and the triple threat matches before in the spoilers video I made. So I'm gonna try to do some researching on that, like who's gonna be fighting in the triple threat tournament matches, which I believe they're gonna be doing two women triple threat tournament matches, but with the Women's United States Championship. I think there was a returning star like on SmackDown, and no, unfortunately, it wasn't Charlotte Flair. Actually, it was a returning SmackDown star, but they were not on SmackDown. But I'm not gonna get into that just yet. I'm gonna talk about that on my review video, along with making an AEW Rampage review, which is I believe it's a post-show edition of Rampage after Full Gear. But yeah, make sure to check out all that stuff on the next video. And I'll see you all in the next video with some more SNA content. Until we again, Super Ninja Austin out of here. But yeah, bye-bye, my assassinators. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this special edition of the SNA podcast. And happy Thanksgiving again, you guys. And I appreciate y'all's viewership and the thumbs up and the love and support. And I'll see you guys again. And I hope your holiday is continuing.